welcome to another episode of Motoring Malaysia test drive sessions. So now we are inside the 2020 Volkswagen Passat 2.0TSI Elegance. This is the only variant now available on sale here in Malaysia at the time of recording this video. And prior to this, there was the Highline trim, and there was the Comfort line, and I think there was one more additional entry-level line or something like that. So anyway, now Volkswagen Malaysia has actually rationalized the things to one line and one engine only, the 2-liter TSI 4-cylinder turbocharged direct injection engine instead of the 2-liter and the 1.8 variants. It seems that Malaysia, everybody seems to buy the higher end spec variant anyway, so Volkswagen Malaysia decided to come up with only one variant for now. This Elegance edition, the facelifted variant of this Volkswagen Passat, and it will be joined later on by a R-Line variant of it, which has the R-Line body kit and a bit more sportier bits here and there since it's an R-Line. So anyway, this is the facelifted variant of the Passat. It's been out since early 2020 in Malaysia, launched globally in early 2019. This is locally assembled here in Malaysia, so the price is quite good for us. 182,000 ringgit, you get quite a very nice and complete full-size family sedan, or D-segment sedan, which is what they like to call it here in Malaysia. Not the first time for me trying out this Passat. This is the first time driving this facelifted model variant. It's my, I think, third time trying out Volkswagen ever since they launched it here in Malaysia in late 2016. So 2015 car arrived here in about 2016 for 2017 sale. Now it's been quite a few years and all. This model still seems to be, this model is the B8 Passat, B8 generation of Volkswagen Passat. How it drives, how it feels, you don't really need to buy something higher up the Volkswagen hierarchy. In fact, I think it is almost as good as any Audi A6 out there. Audi A6, if I remember, I've driven the B8 variant. I think now there's already a new B9 or whatever. But in terms of how it feels, the B8 is a tad bit more tactile here and there in terms of weighting and all. But in terms of like equipment, switch gear and all, in terms of what you get now in this 2020 spec with a fully digital display, full touchscreen infotainment unit with iPhone, smartphone, Android CarPlay connectivity and all, navigation on the digital display, every readout you need, a lot of toys inside the specs and all, fully digitized air conditioning, dual zone, the DSG gearbox works very well. And what more you want? 2-liter engine, same as the Audi. Front wheel drive, basically same as the Audi non-quattro spec. Everything looks like it's good enough. It's premium. All the touches are nice and all. The dashboard is actually, it's been good since the first time it came out. Since the first time I saw it in 2015, I think, when they previewed the thing here earlier before it's launched, and it's still good. Except I have to mention that this facelifted model on the inside does not have that square kind of clock, in-car clock. Instead, there's in the middle of the aircon vents. That's quite unfortunate because that clock adds an air of even more elegance actually. But now it doesn't have a clock; it just has the word Passat written there, right above the hazard light button. So less elegant on that point, less wood also. The previous one, in terms of Highline specs, which came in around the same price or slightly more expensive, 4,000 or 5,000 ringgit more expensive, had also like the Zebrano style wood trim, the one with a lot of the wood grain is basically in line with the aircon vents and the grille pattern on the front of the dashboard and all. So it adds a touch of elegance and all. Of course, this new brushed aluminium kind of finish. Of course, I think it's just plastic, of course. That being said, has that more youthful, modern kind of trim. It's like more like your industrial brush finish kind of thing, which is like what is in nowadays, instead of having it look like an old castle, Victorian drawing room with a lot of wooden furniture, you know. So it suits. The leather is nice and all. Interior wise, it's still fantastic. The same kind of ribbed leather seats are here. Very supportive, very cushiony. Love the bolster supports and all on the sides. Love the armrest, the adjustable armrest. Driving position is spot on as usual. Legibility in the dials and is definitely there. It's so easy for me to see. I'm getting older and all, and I need clarity in them. So they're all clear. Controls are laid out nicely. Steering wheel is a bit cluttered in some ways. I think it's the standard Volkswagen steering wheel, which I think it's good, but I think it could be better. But then again, steering wheel, usually you get used to the functions after a while, and usually can do it blindfolded. Of course, you need to use your eyes to drive. Aside from that, it's talking about the facelifted trim on the inside. Nothing much. It's about the same as the previous car, with the exception of there's no exception on the interior, you know. It's about the same. So except for the change in interior trim, it's a bit more basic in some ways, but it could be a bit more acceptable to some other people also. Quality is nice. Everything is nice with the touch steering wheel. Everywhere you touch, in terms of where you close the door, open the door, and all, the feel is there. It's quite tactile, you know. And it's typically Volkswagen, typically European in terms of how they execute switch gear and all. I like it very much. Okay, the exterior, it's a facelift. So this facelifted one gets, of course, new bumper, slightly different grille, a bit less lines here and there, a bit more integration in terms of design, how it's a bit more cohesive. The bumper now somehow melts in a bit better than the previous one, front and rear. The rear tends to have the words Passat spelled out at beneath the Volkswagen logo now. So it looks a bit more classy. Everything's in chrome and all. So people like to have the words like Passat or whatever. It depends on what your car is. So they didn't spell out Volkswagen. They just used the badge, but they spelled out Passat at the back. Small little badges to indicate the model. Nice front end grille. Clean it up a bit, but everything's basically the same. Good lights and all. Good nighttime visibility. Everything is good. Daytime visibility is good. I kind of like the nice. Actually, I like this car. It's one of the better design cars in terms of all-round visibility, in terms of like even C-pillar. If you look at the back, visibility is quite good from, if you can see the camera angle, everything is good and all. Even the A-pillar doesn't hide cars, you know. Sometimes some cars disappear inside the A-pillar, so this one doesn't. Good addition of this car model is the blind spot indicators. They are there. So in terms of that, blind spot indicators for the left and right mirrors are there, for the left and right sides are there. So easy to judge in traffic and all that cars are passing by. Very good addition. And other safety features, you got the usual airbags, ABS, EBD and all, which work perfectly fine. In terms of course, cross traffic alert, all this pedestrian detection isn't fitted into this locally assembled version, because I will list out the specs of what this car actually has, so that you know right somewhere here, so you know that what are the active safety features and also the passive safety features fitted to this car. So very good. In terms of, as I said, the design is still fresh since 2015 until now. Even with this minor facelift, I don't think they tweaked much of it. It's a successful design from what you can see in terms of exterior and also the interior. So Volkswagen didn't change much. I think it is. It's quite a successful design. The lines are strong, simple, clear. No additional funny flowy lines and all. Everything is nicely chiseled into this car, I would say. So what else is there? As I said, comes with a 2-liter direct injection turbocharged TSI 4-cylinder engine. It has the works basically for 2-liter. It has, however, only 190 horsepower over the previous pre-facelift model, which had 220 horsepower. So where do you say the 30 horsepower went? Not felt actually. unless you're pushing at maybe at about over 200 kilometers per hour. What I think Volkswagen passenger cars Malaysia has done is taken what was given to them by Volkswagen overall. So in terms of why some would ask, why does it have less power? It has the same torque, which is actually more important in terms of pulling power and acceleration. So it still gives you anything under, I think easily under 7.5 seconds to 100 and all. Why does it have less horsepower, you say? It might have less top speed, no more 245 kilometers per hour, maybe slightly lesser. I think it's also because of Malaysian grade of fuel. Not everybody will run the V-Power Racing or even 97 at Euro 4M. So to cater for a more widespread crowd, for a car who's used for by company basically, or drivers and the fleet car owners or whatever, right? So you can't expecting them to say that, oh, you have to run higher grade 97 RON 97 because of the Euro 4 octane, or especially out of the Klang Valley or out of the big cities like Penang, Johor Bahru and all, where it could be harder to find Euro 4M. It could be easier to find our Malaysian Euro 2.5, 0.3, whatever shit petrol. So it's not going to be good for the car, because this engine after the facelift was actually tweaked a little by Volkswagen. So more efficient in most ways, but most likely more sensitive to the type of petrol used and all. So it has been basically toned down to 190 horsepower. Not that it's low. 190 horsepower somehow actually still works with this car because, one, the chassis is actually very good. Two, the torque levels is actually quite impressive. In terms of torque, it's easy to cut through traffic. Like we are in traffic right now. So, and I'm still in normal mode, no pedal shifts and all. Yeah, it comes with pedal shifts, so it's a very good thing also if you want to play with it. Any car with pedal shifts gives you a very good thing. Let's go to sports mode. Coming out this junction, I mean, not that we really need to, but why not? Just give it a booty, more booty. 60, and we are 80. That's all. I mean, that's how many seconds you can look by the counter on the YouTube, on your YouTube player. That's how fast. When I say 60, it was 60 and then became 80 within that split second. And I was gentle on the throttle. I was like mashing it slowly and not giving it the whole shebang, So, in terms of power in town, the cut and thrust of traffic, definitely very good. For a full-size sedan, this Passat is actually very nimble. I'm not surprised because I've driven it before when it was launched already. When it was launched, they took us up to Gunung Raya in Langkawi. So the car could handle twisties and it was actually mighty fun in the 2-liter. It had enough grip from the 18-inch wheels. It also had ample poke and all and power. And bear in mind that I've driven also the 1.8-liter, which has like 160 horsepower. So that could actually handle the hill. So now this is 190, like straddles in between in terms of power output and all. But it's actually still decent. I mean, and good. The brakes are good. The brakes are also very progressive. There is no early Volkswagen in the mid 2000s and all. There was like this over-servoed feel in terms of Audi Volkswagen products. So there's none of that. The brake has good feel. Even the steering is nice. The steering has always been nice. The gearing in the steering wheel is nice in terms of like how much input you need, right? Say when you turn, when you're moving it around, going through traffic like now, using the torque to surf through the gears. Not need to surf through the gears, just using the torque to surf how the road environment feels. This is one of the better sedans because that 2-liter engine is actually a marvel in terms of drivability. In terms of enjoyment, it's actually damn fun. Some people say, yeah, you can survive with a 1.5-liter engine, with a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine or even 1.8, but you can't beat sheer capacity. 2-liter now seems to be the norm everywhere you go in terms of power and reliability. I mean, you can push a 2-liter up to even 300, 400 horsepower nowadays. So 190 is nice, a nice safe power output for this kind of car, and actually a nice output for most driving. I'm quite happy. I'm quite nice. Even if you're talking about cornering right now, we're doing about 90 kilometers per hour on a nice sweeping corner. Everything's nice. It tracks well, it grips well. It will understeer in extremis, of course. Most front-wheel drive cars will actually push wide. So if you're cornering, say, to the right, you will try to push left. And weighting is nice in terms of how much it tells you that, oh, this is too much. It will reel you back in. It will tell you that you should reel the car back in by adding more weight to the front and putting more resistance into the effort you need to corner. So Volkswagen does this very well in this Passat. In this kind of roads, at this kind of speeds, we're doing about 100 now. Nice sweeping kind of roads on the highways and all. In inner city highways, it's good. So I have no complaints about that. In terms of when does it get tough, this kind of car, it's when the roads get smaller and tighter, then you can feel the size of these segments there. Then you feel it's big. Basically, if it's a nice tight, not nice tight parking lot where you have to maneuver around, then you're gonna feel the width. Good thing that it comes with these park sensors all around, where we have warnings on all four corners, going beep 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 beep, sonar basically. So you won't have any problems on that point. Up to a limit, of course, unless people like stupid idiots double park, triple park, and then you have to squeeze through, and then there's going to be a problem. You'll never squeeze through like, say, a Myvi, a Proto Myvi, but it's going to be mighty fine in and around town because, one, there's a lot of power there to be a bit more nimble. Your nimbleness you will only feel that it's less nimble when you are in very tight situations or very tight corners, and then it will basically tell you that, oh, I'm too big for this road, or I'm too heavy, or my nose is going to lose. So, but you're talking about normal speeds around this kind of speeds, 80, 90, 100, you're not going to suffer at all. The car is very predictable. The car is also very, very nimble because of that torque, and also because of it's coupled to this fantastic 7-speed double clutch gearbox, the Volkswagen DSG. It's actually mighty fun. I mean, I'm belting it. I'm still talking to you. I'm doing about 100 right now. Yeah, I'm not supposed to do 100, but it's just so damn fun. So I'm going to reel it back into about 70 now. Yep, I'm back to 70 already. Okay, I'm a good boy again. I'm good boy again. I'm a very good boy. So we're gonna go down to this Jalan Semantan corkscrew turn, which is actually mighty fun. If there are no cars in front, I'll use the manual shifters, the pedal shifters, and just do a bit of a nice controllable, slightly higher than normal speed corner, just to show you guys that this car can do it. You're talking about still within the speed limits. Let's take the inner lane. 60, no drama at all at 60. I'm still talking to you guys. Still at 60 at 3000 RPM. Car handles the line so well. I mean, okay, let's get out of manual mode into normal mode right now. Yeah, that's it. So this car handles very well. So likes about this car actually quite a lot. At 182,000, one of the nicest sedans out there. That 2 liter engine is still a beautiful gem of an engine. It actually allows you a lot of pleasure in the drive. I like it. I like how the power is fed through the gearbox. It's a bit lethargic at when you use it at D mode, especially around town. It likes to the pedal modulation in terms of like on the initial pedal start, it's a bit weak. I think efficiency, it doesn't want you to spend money on petrol. So it's so gradual that it's a bit boring. Put it in sport mode is just nice. I'd like it to be a bit more nimble on the get-go upon acceleration. So if that's a complaint. Yes, that's the only complaint about me. But I'm a kind of spirited driver. We're talking about normal traffic and all. It's actually good enough. It feels normal. I think if you're driving say a smaller car, like say even a 1.3 liter Saga or something like that, then it's going to be even more lethargic. It's just that you're talking about to a guy who I've bought a 2 liter car. It doesn't feel it should feel a bit more nimble on the get up and go. But you're talking about maybe for the first 10 to 15 kilometers per hour, just as you're about to move. Most likely because he likes to start in second gear also for this efficiency purposes and all. Putting in sport modes are totally different. Again, it shifts very fast. Everything moves fast. The steering wheel also feels, I think the steering wheel is always nice. It's just that the gear ratio is somehow so much better when it's sports. Because you can do the manual shifters with these pedals and so it's quite fun. Might be really fun. It's enjoyable. It rides also very nicely. It's firm, but it's not bouncy, it's not jarring. It handles the corners so well. Brakes, as I said, good. It's very predictable. The ride is good. There's not much tire clobber and all. Nicely over bumps. Cabin is pretty hushed. The engine 4-cylinder also has that nice sound to it when it's going to be on song or on song. So there you have it. This is my actual, my review of the facelifted Volkswagen Passat, the 2020 variant in Elegance spec. So no complaints whatsoever, except maybe a few things. I wish it had still had that clock here instead of depending on the infotainment unit. There's a clock at the side. There's a clock on the instrument cluster and all. But I wish I had that actual analog clock, to just make it look a bit more stylish and elegant, actually. A bit more old school, old world, I don't know. But it's just nice to have a clock rather than the words Passat written all over it. I think it's for the benefits of the passengers of this car to say, oh yeah, I'm driving a Passat. I'm inside a Passat. Oh, I'm inside a Passat. Okay, so in terms of the owner, I think the owner or the driver will know that yes, I'm driving a Passat. In terms of day-to-day usability, definitely good. I think today's drive after having this car since for about 5 days, 9.2 kilometers per liter. So that's quite good actually if you think about it, long-term average. So I'll give you the things in the subtitles of what is like per liter per km or something. Let's say km per liter is 9.2. Per 100 km, how many liters? I'll give you the conversion later on, but it seems to be decent, I've had this car a few days and still the fuel gauge hasn't actually moved much except for 1 bar or so. And I've been driving it in and around town yesterday and all, doing a few errands and all. It's still good in terms of consumption. So I can't complain on that. Fuel consumption is good. Drivability is good. Enjoyment factor is high. Load carrying space is good. My kid sat at the back in terms of rear seats. She says that it's good. It's one of those cars where she said that she doesn't get motion sickness or car sickness and all at the back. So you're talking about carrying a family is good. So overall, decent car, decent quality, And then if you're worried about all these reliability issues, I think Volkswagen Malaysia has somehow given you great warranty package these days and also free service package also nowadays with most of their cars. I think up to 3 years. So use the service package and use this car wisely. Make sure everything is under warranty and it should be okay. Run this car for about 5-6 years. It's a very highly technological car in terms of how the engine is made, how the gearbox is set up and all. I mean, it's really, really good. It's not like some great crappy car and all. So with great power or comfort, premium specs come responsibilities and a lot of maybe servicing and all. So you have to actually afford this car to be able to drive it. I mean, that's as simple as that in any car. So I'd give this car a good recommendation if you wanted a nice sedan under the 200,000 ringgit mark. Especially if you are not a guy who wants an SUV. An SUV is the trend nowadays, and this is one of the ones that has come from an era where big four-door sedans rule the roads. Of course, for me it does. It still does. It's so much better driving this fast than any SUV out there, and I love it for what it is. So, okay, with that, I'll end my talk about this Volkswagen Passat 2.0TSI Elegance, and do subscribe to this channel if you like more content like this, and give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and if you don't like this video, give us a comment on why you don't like this video. Thanks so much.